And then bring the hands to the knees with the palms facing down. Let your eyes close if it feels okay. And just notice what it feels like to sit, and maybe you have to wiggle a little bit more and you feel like you can stretch yourself a little bit taller. And let the skin of your face relax and the skin on your arms, across the tops of your shoulders, down the front and back of your torso. So you're just kind of melting into the floor as you're lengthening up through the crown of the head. Taking notice of your breath. Draw the breath all the way down into the belly. Let the belly expand as you inhale. Your breath gets big. Let your belly deflate as you exhale. And use a little bit of a contraction to empty all the way out. Big inhales and you grow bigger. Full exhales and you tone. Let your breath stay full. Start to rub the palms of your hands across the tops of your knees. Just feeling the contact between your knees and your hands. Maybe you blink the eyes open and let your hands rest again. Starting to move with your breath. Let's inhale, circling the heart forward, and exhale, rounding back, leaning back. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. Just matching your breath and your movement. And the next time you come forward, let's change directions. Paying attention to the feeling of your breath and letting your breath be the initiator of your movement. Gradually let your circles become smaller until the shoulders are stacked over the hips and you're making tiny circles. And then almost imperceptible circles. Take an inhale, let your chest come forward. Maybe you look up to the sky, you let the front of the throat stretch long, and then exhale, chin to chest, leaning back, holding the knees with the hands and just leaning back against the legs. Inhale forward and exhale back. Again, moving with the rhythm of your breath. Three more. And then come back to center. Take the left hand, tuck the left hand under the hip. Take the right hand, reach it up to the sky. A big inhale as you root the left sits bone down into the floor. You reach the right hand up. You let your left ear drop towards your shoulder, and maybe you look up. Take an inhale to reach the right fingertips a little higher, and then lengthen them out in a big, wide circle. Letting the left ear hang until your fingers almost touch the floor. Allow your chin to roll forward to the chest, releasing both arms. Maybe you shake them out. And then tucking the right hand underneath your right sits bone. Inhaling the left hand up towards the sky, lengthening from right sits bone across the midline, up the left arm. Letting the right ear drop towards the right shoulder. Maybe you look up. And then a slow, gradual sweep of the left arm. Letting the right ear continue to hang. Pausing with the fingertips hovering just above the floor. Your breath is still big. And then you let the chin roll forward to the chest, releasing both arms. Let the hands come out in front like you're gonna clap. And then the hands come back. And maybe they touch, but maybe they don't, right? And do it really fast. And then let your breath get really fast. And big, like you're doing Kundalini yoga. And keep going. And your neck gets longer, like your shoulders are dropping away from your ears and your hands are really heavy and you're just going and you really want to stop, but you don't. And then you let your hands drop. Maybe even close your eyes for a second and just notice your neck, your shoulders, your arms. And then crossing over the knees, shift to hands and knees. If you have a hard floor, feel free to use a little padding. Maybe you have a rug or yoga blanket or something. Bringing the hands under the shoulders and the knees right under the hips. Turn the fingertips out to the edges of your mat. And then let's go from left to right. And if it feels okay, maybe circles. If there's a lot of tension, bring your hands closer to your knees. And if you want to make it harder, you can take your hands and knees further apart. Change directions if you're circling. And then come back to center. And let's flip the palms over, the backs of the hands on the floor, fingertips pointing towards one another. You're trying to stretch the arms as straight as you can without creating too much tension. Remember, bringing the hands closer to the knees takes more pressure off the hands. Further away, it gets harder. So let's start by rocking left to right. If it feels okay, you start to circle. going both directions if you're circling. And coming back to center. And then let's take the fingertips forward. Remembering the placement of the hands. Fingertips pointing forward, keeping all 4 fingers down on the floor. Little tiny push-ups, just lifting the palms of the hands. The palms and the thumb are lifting. All 4 fingers are as glued to the mat as you can get them. Letting the hands come back onto the floor. Turn the fingertips towards the knees. And then shift the hips back whatever amount you can. And remember, you can always walk your hands closer to your knees. Trying to stretch the arms as straight as you can without causing tension. Noticing the space in your neck. Noticing the width of your shoulders. Your neck should be long, extending all the way down into the shoulders so that your shoulders get broader. Your breath is still full. And then we're shifting forward, coming off of the hands, curl the toes under. All the toes, and you might even have to tuck your toes into this and use your fingers to curl them under. And then walking your way back, and you don't have to go all the way back. Maybe you can sit up tall, but maybe you need to bring some weight onto the hands. Either way is okay. You could also sit on something. And then take the hands out in front, palms facing up. And let's just flex and extend the wrist. And then at the elbow, and then bringing the hands to the shoulders, letting the fingers come in front, the thumb behind, making big circles with the elbows. Changing the direction. And then releasing the arms, maybe releasing your toes, coming to the tops of the feet. Remembering you can always sit on something, and if you don't have a block or a bolster, you could like use a couch cushion or something. Now, let's take the arms out again. Moving from the shoulder joint here, where the arm bone comes into the shoulder, let's internally and externally rotate the arms. You're not trying to move your shoulders too much, just trying to think about moving your arm bones at first. And then let your shoulder blades move too, and notice the difference. And then let's let the movement get bigger. Letting the backs of the hands come forward a little bit, and then opening the palms up, maybe opening the center of the chest to the sky. So the backs of the hands are meeting, and then opening. And then again, moving the arms really quickly. Letting the breath and the movement both be quick. Keeping going. Let the arms drop. Just pausing, maybe closing the arms. Again, noticing the sensation in your neck and your shoulders. Shifting forward, come back to the hands and the knees. This time, take the hands one step forward of the shoulders. With the middle finger and the index finger pointing ahead, spread your fingers wide, gluing the palm all the way. The heart of the palm lifts, but the knuckle of each finger reaches down into the floor. And then curl the toes under, lifting the hips into a lazy little down dog with the knees bent. Pedal the legs here. Hands and feet can be pretty close together because we're just starting out. What does it feel like to have your belly and your thighs be able to touch when you're pedaling your legs? And then with the hands still rooted into the floor, bring the legs to equal. Bend the knees a lot. Let your belly and your thighs come really close together. And maybe you look at me if you're not sure what that means. You let your head hang and you shake your head no, and you nod your head yes, and you squeeze your upper arm bones together. And then tippy toe your feet forward to your hands. Bringing the belly and the thighs to touch. The feet can be wide, a little wider than the hips. Let your torso dangle over your legs. Maybe hooking the hands in the crooks of the elbows. Noticing the soles of the feet, where they're touching the floor. Seeing if you can direct more energy down through the soles of your feet. More energy down through the soles of the feet to firm up the legs so that you can soften your torso just a little bit more. Let your head get just a little bit heavier. And then releasing your arms. Use the hands like you need them, like your upper body is really heavy. Walk your hands up your legs. Coming to standing. Standing with the feet hips distance. Again, rooting through the soles of the feet, making sure that your toes are pointing straight ahead, your knees are pointing straight ahead, knees and toes going in the same direction. Arms heavy alongside your body, and just a little bounce. And then without slapping your neighbor or the walls, let's take a big inhale, hands go to the sky, you look to the sky, a big exhale, hands go wide. Inhale, hands go up, and then exhale, you fall into a forward fold. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, arms to a T, Inhale up, exhale, fold. Inhale, exhale, inhale, fold. Keep going with your own breath. Two more. And when you finish, just stand in Tadasana. Maybe closing the eyes, brightening up through the midline of the body, out through the crown of the head, melting down the face, neck, shoulders, all the way to the ground. Now let's bring the big toes to touch. A little space between the heels. If this isn't comfortable, of course you can bring your feet hips distance, but make sure that your toes are pointing straight ahead. The outer edges of the feet are in line with the outer edges of your mat. Arms alongside the body, lifting the sternum just a little bit, 1/2 centimeter. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, step the right foot back. Exhale, plank. Take a big inhale, get long. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale to cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to prayer. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale, left foot steps back. Exhale, plank. Take an inhale, get long. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, left foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to prayer. Bring the hands alongside the body. Turning your attention to your breath. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me okay. Okay. So let's do it again, the classical sun salutes. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale, right foot back. Exhale, plank. Take an inhale, get long. Exhale, knees, chest, and chin. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, right foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to prayer. Inhale to reach. Exhale, fold. Inhale, left. Exhale, plank. Inhale, brighten. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, the left foot forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to prayer. Let the arms come alongside your body. Soften the knees. Let the tailbone get heavy. You feel the back body descending. Feel the front of the body lifting. Bring the hands to the hips and wiggle your feet wide. Let the toes point out and sink all the way down. If you can't go all the way, you can always put something underneath the heels or your behind. Bring the elbows into the crooks of the knees. Bring the palms together at the heart. Let the shoulders descend from the ears. The crown of the head reaches up to the sky. Follow the breath. Maybe lengthening your breath out. Big toes touching or feet hips distance, whatever works best for you. Take an inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plank. Take an inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, lower, all the way to the ground, knees up or down. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Take an inhale, bend the knees. Bring belly and thighs close together, looking ahead, and then moving the feet to the hands. Take an inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise. Exhale, prayer. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plank. Knees up or down. Lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, soften the knees, looking ahead. Exhale, move ahead. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale to rise. Exhale to prayer. Inhale to reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, plank. Knees up or down, lower. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, down dog. Soften the knees, looking ahead, move ahead. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, belly to thighs. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, prayer. Bring the arms alongside your body, pausing. Stepping the feet the distance of the hips, bringing the hands onto the hips. Put a little bend in the knees. Tailbone descends as you puff up the chest and then hinge from the hips to fold. Even if the knees need to bend, bring your peace fingers to your big toes. Take an inhale, mashing your big toes into your fingers. Lift your heart, firm up your legs, lengthen from the crown of the head to the tail. And then bending the elbows out to the sides, draw the arms into the feet and the feet into the arms as you bring your head closer to the ground. Belly and thighs hugging together. Big breaths, inhaling, lengthening out through the bones. And exhale, squeezing the muscles into the bones. Take another inhale, lifting halfway, leveraging against the arms. And then exhale, soften, releasing the grip of the toes. Using the hands to walk your way back up the legs. Everyone bringing the big toes to touch, little space between the heels. Taking an inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, bend the knees, bringing the fingertips to the floor. Exhale, peeling your heart up. Oh, inhale, peeling your heart up. Exhale, fold. Take an inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, plank. Inhale here. Exhale, lower the way that you go, halfway or all the way. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhale, down dog. Right foot steps forward. Inhale, warrior one, hands to the sky. Exhale, hands to the floor, making your way through your vinyasa. Inhaling to lift the heart. Exhaling to down dog. Left foot steps forward, inhaling to rise. Exhaling to lower. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, down dog. 5 breaths here. Feel free to rest in child's pose if the wrist hurt or anything else. Brightening up the soles of the feet in the palms, letting the head hang heavy. And then inhaling to bend the knees, looking forward. Exhaling to move forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair pose. Tailbone heavy, hands to the sky. Exhale, Tadasana. Turning into your breath. Now, let's step the feet wide. I don't know how this works for you. You might have to adjust, I guess, if in your room or your mat. The feet are wide, and at first let your toes turn in. So the toes turn in and the heels turn out. You feel your thigh bones turning in. And then soften the knees and let the tailbone get heavy. Hands to the hips, and then let your chest lift and hinge from the hips to fold. Bring the hands to the floor. And first, walk your hands forward. Walk your hands forward, maybe letting the weight shift into the arms and then into the feet. And then walk your hands back, letting the hips Stack over the ankles, or not over, but in line. And then keep walking your hands past the line of your hips, past the line of your feet. Walking the fingers through the legs behind you as much as you can. And then bring the hands in line with the feet, fingers pointing straight ahead. Take an inhale, lift halfway, drawing the shoulders onto the back. It would be an awesome time to have a block, right? Or to bend your knees. You could look like me right now. And that's the same. And then release the action. Bring your hands to your hips and sturdy up your legs and get a little buoyancy in the legs, and then come all the way up to standing. Let your toes turn out. So the toes turn out, hands are still on the hips. Bend the knees and just bend them halfway. Look down at your knees, and see if your knees and toes are pointing in the same direction. If they're not, then change the orientation of your feet so they are. And then straighten the legs again. Bring the arms out to a T. Let the palms face forward. Let the fingers spread and the hands get bright, like you're holding like a giant beach ball. And then bend your knees deeply. And you kind of see how I'm like trying to make a 90-degree angles. See if you can do that. Stacking shoulders over hips, chest is bright, you're holding your beach ball. Now, let the hands drop inside of the knees. Nothing else changes. You don't tip forward. And then push the backs of the hands into the knees, opening more. Chest stays lifted. And then rooting through the soles of the feet. Let's come all the way up. Arms to a T, palms turned down. We're going to keep the left toes pointing forward, turning the right toes in, like warrior two. So I have a heel to arch alignment in my feet. Left toes are pointing ahead. Bring your hands down. Bring your hands to your hips. Let the back foot, let those toes turn in like 2 centimeters. It's like barely. Just enough so you feel this thigh kind of roll in. And then shift forward, bending the left knee. And then shift back, bending the right knee and straightening the left. And move a few times this way. And your torso's not really changing. Pit of the abdomen is lifted. And you're letting your pelvis kind of orient to the right position here. Next time the left knee bends, stay there. Root through the soles of the feet like you are suction cupping the soles of your feet. And then take the arms out to a T. And if you want to square the chest, let the pelvis stay where it is. Move the right ribs back. Then look over the left fingertips. So really rooting through the soles of the feet, letting that reverberate back up the legs. Relaxing the skin. 2 more breaths. And then releasing your arms, letting the legs straighten, paralleling the feet. Heel toe your feet in, all the way in until they touch. So big toes are touching. There's a little bit of space between your heels, bending the knees, chair pose, hands to the sky. Squeezing the knees together, thighs together, sits bones together, letting the tailbone stay heavy, letting the ribs descend. Big breaths, inhale, exhale, and then inhale to stand. Exhale, release the hands slowly all the way alongside the body. Taking a couple big breaths. And then stepping your feet wide. We're going to switch to the other side. So let's turn the right toes out. I have a heel to arch alignment in my feet. I'm going to let the back toes turn in just 2 little centimeters, barely, so I feel that leg bone turn in. Hands on the hips. And then we're going to shift forward and back. Bending the right knee and then the left. Noticing if anything here hurts. So maybe you feel too much compression in the ankle, the dorsiflexion of the ankle. And if you do, you can adjust the angle of your foot till you find a position that you don't feel that. Next time the right knee is bent, stay there. Letting the pelvis stay where it is, arms to a T, squaring the chest by moving the left ribs back. Looking over the right fingertips. Pit of the abdomen is lifting, right? Pranavayu traveling up the front line of the body, washing over the head, and then ascending, descending as Apanavayu. Stomping the right foot into the floor as much as you can. Take one last inhale. And then releasing. Let's parallel the feet. This time switching right over to the other side. Left toes turn out. Heel to arch alignment in the feet just like before. This time the back toes turn in 4 centimeters. So just like a little bit more. And then bend both knees. Bend both knees, let the tailbone get heavy, shoulders stack right over the hips. You're doing this like weird trampoline bounce. And then keep the softness in the knees as you straighten both legs. Really drawing the left hip crease in as tight as you can. And then your hands are on your hips again and lengthen the torso to where your crown of your head is kind of mating or reaching towards where the ceiling and the wall are. Hands are still on the hips. You've got a little softness, a little breath in both knees so your muscles are working. Now let your left hand come to your left thigh and it's going in. You can even do that movement with your hand, right? You can roll the left thigh in with your hand. And then the right hand reaches up. And you're breathing, lengthening, softness in both knees, brightness in the soles of the feet. Big breath. And then let's tip all the way back up. Switching right over to the other side. Heel to arch alignment in the feet. Back toes turning in 4 degrees. Or 4 little centimeters. And then bending both knees. Letting the back body descend. Front of the body gets brighter, lifts up. Stacking shoulders over the hips, right? You're not tipping forward or tipping back. And kind of weird to see yourself, but you can check yourself. Once you feel lined up, let both legs straighten, keeping a little softness in the knees. And then with the hands on the hips, lengthen and brighten the torso up and towards where the ceiling and the wall meet, you can see. Remembering that softness in the knees, and then just giving yourself your own adjustment of internally rotating your right thigh. Letting the left hand reach up, keeping that action, right? Rooting down through the feet to recoil up through the legs. Remembering softness in the knees. Lifting the pit of the abdomen, bringing hip bones and lower ribs closer together. And then inhaling all the way back up. Paralleling the feet, bringing them in only halfway. Letting the toes turn out. Sinking the hips low, back into the hips. You know, maybe you find stuff around the house you can use, but you could always sit on your blocks if this pose is hard. Sit on something, couch cushion, even the edge of a chair, you know, same thing. So knees are bent, knees and toes are going in the same direction. I'm walking my hands forward like I'm a cat, right? And, you know, what would you call this? Through the jungle. Can't hear you guys anyways. Like you can walk yourself longer. And you can even let the hips move from side to side. One hip drops back and the other hip drops back. And one hip drops back and the other. And then when you get as long as you think possible, take the left hand and glue it into the floor. And take the right hand and reach it up to the sky. And then bringing the right hand down, gluing it to the floor. Take the left hand, reach it up and out. And then unravel all the way down. Let your head hang. And maybe give it a shake, letting it kind of unwind from the rest of your spine. And then let yourself come to seated. I'll take a minute just for you to adjust your camera so you can see me or anything that you might need to do. I'll see if anyone gets up. Yeah. Let's bring the soles of the feet together. The soles of the feet come together, and for a second, just give them a rub. Pull all the toes out. Massaging. Don't forget about the inner arch and the outer arch, and like kind of really give your foot some love. Hello, feet. And then bringing the peace fingers back to the big toes, tucking the feet in as tightly as you can. Yeah, wiggle a little bit from left to right so you get propped right up on top of your sits bones. Big toes and peace fingers together, using that leverage. Stretch the arms straight, sit up tall, pushing, right? Your legs have to be action-packed, pushing against your arms, and your arms have to be action-packed. And then instead of, you know, doing a back bend, draw the lower ribs, floating ribs down, and lengthen up through the spine, get taller. And then you've got this action with the toes, and you're just gonna let the elbows go out to the sides as you tip forward, trying to keep the length in your spine. So I'm really reaching the crown of my head to where the ceiling and the wall meet. My arms are working, my legs and arms resisting one another. And then come all the way back up. And then take your feet out. So releasing the grip, take the feet out so you have a big diamond in the legs. Hands on the knees, take an inhale, sitting up really tall. Exhale, tipping forward, right? Just tipping the pelvis forward, not rounding the spine, lengthening. Maybe I even kind of wiggle, and I wiggle my sits bones down into the floor, and I wiggle my spine longer and my head closer to the ceiling, tipping forward. If you go too fast, you'll feel, right, the IT band just ploof, flip right over the muscle instead of stretching. So finding that sweet spot to where you feel the outsides of the thighs kind of opening up. Letting the chin drop to the chest. Take some great big breaths into the space of your kidneys, into the space between the ribs. And then using the hands to help yourself come all the way back up. Taking the right shin in front of the left. So I've got my right knee on top of my left. I'm gonna bring the legs across, and everybody's gonna be different. So if this is really hard, you may sit on something, right? So I could sit on my block. And if that's, and you can also let the feet come back closer to the hips. The closer the feet are to the hips, the easier. If it's just a little bit hard, like I'm sitting here and I feel my right sits bone is not touching the ground as strongly as my left, then you can just take the little corner edge of your blanket and tuck the little corner edge of your blanket under the left sit bone, the one that's heavy on the ground, to push you back over so you're even. And then, right, the feet can be back here, easier. The feet can make one solid line. I don't know if you can see me. One straight line across. Take the hands to the feet rooting sits bones into the floor, lengthen long spine. Just letting the pelvis tip forward. No, not just a tiny little bit. Maybe you bring the chin to the chest, you lengthen, reaching through the crown of the head, sits bones just down into the earth, crown of the head up towards the sky, pulling you in both directions. Big full breaths across the back body. And then sitting tall again, let's stomp right foot into the floor, right outside of your left knee, tucking the left foot in towards the hip. So I've got this foot mashing down into the floor. I've got my belly and my thighs close together. I'm sitting up really tall. Same prop option. If you feel like your right sits bone is lifting up when you do this, then you put the corner edge of your blanket underneath your left hip. Once you're balanced, take both hands to your knees. Take a big inhale, sit up tall. And then keeping that length, open the arms out wide to a T. Another inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, twisting to the right, moving from the torso, right? Let the pelvis kind of drop back. Let the right ribs move back, the right chest. Then bring right fingertips to the floor, left elbow to right knee. Squeeze the elbow and the knee together, like really squeeze them together and feel how that lifts you taller. Take an inhale. The right fingertips are on the floor, but they're just gently there, right? And you can even lean back a little bit if you need to. Every inhale, you're lengthening. And at every exhale, you're softening into the twist. And I kind of like to let my left hand come to my chest. I feel like that pushes my twists a little deeper. Maybe you look over your right shoulder. And if you are, imagine that you're really trying to hear something through your right ear. You're reaching through the right ear to hear something that you can barely hear. Continuing to squeeze elbow and knee together. Little softness as you tuck the chin and let the back of the neck lengthen. And then let's unravel from the belly and then the heart and then the head. Letting your legs go out long and maybe just wiggle from side to side. We're going to do the other way. So left shin on top. Stacking the knees. Finding your variation, right? If you need to prop or you need to move the feet closer to the hips. You would prop under your right hip, pushes you back over under the left. And then you're going to hold on to the feet, lengthening sits bones down into the ground, crown of the head up towards the sky. You get longer, tipping the pelvis forward ever so slightly. Action in the feet. They protect your knees, so your feet are action-packed. Even here, the knees and the toes pointing in the same direction. And then we'll come to seated. Stomping the left foot down into the ground on outside of our right knee. Tucking the right foot in towards the hip, right? Finding that balance, equal balance on both sits bones. Propping if you need to. And once you find the right position, you're going to take both hands to the knees, squeezing, right, belly and thighs together, sitting up super tall. The length that we find here is the #1 thing that we want to keep in the pose, right? We want to keep this length, even if it means that we have to lean back or anything. We want to avoid rounding. We want to keep the length when we twist. So we get long, we take the arms out, a big inhale, and then an exhale, letting the left groin soften back, left ribs, left shoulder. Eventually, left fingertips to the floor, bringing right elbow to the knee, squeezing. Take an inhale and lengthen. Exhale, softening into the twist, maybe letting your hand come to your heart, finding the length, even if it means you lean back. Every inhale, I think about lifting the right kidney up. And then every exhale, I think about softening the left lung down. Inhaling, right kidney up. Exhale, softening left lung down. Maybe looking over the left shoulder, listening through the left ear. And then unraveling from the belly, the heart, and then the head. Taking the legs out in front, letting the femur bones roll in their sockets from left to right. Maybe even bouncing the legs a little bit. And then bringing the feet together. Brightening up your feet, soles of the feet, so they're action-packed, just like if you were standing on the floor. Taking your hands to your shins, tucking them under your knees, right? And you're gonna pull up through the hands like you're gonna trying to bend your knees, and then you're gonna push down through your legs like you're, no way, I'm not gonna bend my knees, so that you can lengthen your spine using the leverage of the contact between your hands and your legs to lengthen your spine. Rooting sits bones into the floor, lengthening out through the crown of the head. The back of the neck is bright. Once you have that sensation, maybe you let the hands and the knees go, but you keep the action and walk your hands a little closer down the legs towards the feet. Action-packed, right? Lengthening out through the bones and then hugging the muscles in. Lengthening out through the bones, inhale. Squeezing, muscles in, exhale. Inhale, you relax, release, brighten. Exhale, toning. Release the action and bend the knees. Soles of the feet on the floor, hands behind the knees, rocking from left to right, finding the sits bones. And then finding your balance, right? I'm trying to avoid crunching my back, and I'm really trying to lift, lift, lift as I lift my feet. And you could stay right here and just focus on the lift. Shoulders relaxing down, neck is long. You could take the legs out. You could take the arms out. You could take them up. Let's breathe. Right feet, action-packed. Inhale, get longer. Exhale, squeezing in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, release. So let's grab the strap. And we're gonna come onto our back. think I'm gonna go like this. I know that's weird. But let's take the strap and we're gonna hook it over both feet. We want it over the balls of both feet. The toes are really bright. The arms are all the way straight, walking up the length of the strap, whatever that is for you. Now, really draw your tailbone, your sacrum down into the floor, gluing sacrum to the floor. Keeping it connected, push the legs up into the strap. Maybe letting the feet move forward to any degree, like whatever that means for you. And you can keep walking the hands up the strap, gluing sacrum to the mat, pushing your feet into your strap. Action packed here. They don't even have to be straight to be pushing. Really, really reach. So maybe you're even shaking a little bit because you're working so hard. And then soften. Keep the strap across the ball of the right foot, but let the left foot come to the floor. Left knee bent, sole of the left foot on the floor. Right foot up to the sky. Now, internally rotate your right leg. Right leg internally rotates from the femur bone so that your right toes are pointing to the left. And then let your right leg cross over your body so that your right foot is over your left, hip or shoulder, kind of over the left hip, but reaching towards the left shoulder, still keeping the internal rotation. Now, I know when I do this, it makes my right hip want to lift up and my right side body gets shorter. So stretch the right side body back down, lengthen the right side body while keeping the internal rotation in the leg bone. And to intensify, you'll just draw the foot closer to the head. So right hip moves away from the head as the right foot moves closer to the head. Squeeze the thighs together here. Squeeze the thighs together, gluing sacrum to the floor. Couple breaths. And then let's release that side. And we're going to bend. We've still got the right leg lifted. Left foot on the floor, left knee bent. But we're going to take the strap off. We're going to let the right knee bend. And we're going to externally rotate your right leg. So now the right knee is pointing out to the right side. Take your strap, hook it around the heel. Don't change the orientation of the femur bone. Maybe you even need to put your right hand on it and hold your leg there in place. And then start to straighten the right leg to whatever amount you can. And you can stay right here, or you could let the left knee lift. Left foot lifts off the floor, and it's kind of bent. Left thigh matching the right thigh, but the foot is relaxed, the leg is relaxed, it's just hanging, knee is bent.
Now let's release. Completely release both legs, stretch them long, and notice how they feel. Now we're going to do the other side. So lifting the left leg, taking the strap across the ball of your left foot. And then from the femur bone, turning, internally rotating the femur bone so that the left foot turns in. Letting your left leg cross your body just 6 inches so the right foot is stacked, the left foot is stacked over the right hip. And then maybe bringing the foot closer towards the head and the shoulder. Noticing how the left side body shortens. Lengthen the left side body. So stretching the left hip away from the ribs and down into the floor, holding it there, squeezing the thighs together. Shoulders relaxed, neck and face relaxed. And then releasing this side. Left knee bends. And we externally rotate, letting the strap hook around the heel. And I'm committing to keeping this right external rotation and not letting it go when I straighten the leg. So I'm going to even maybe hold it and then start to straighten the leg, whatever degree. And you can let the other foot come off of the floor so the pelvis is matching. And then release this leg, bringing both feet down and then letting both legs straighten, noticing how they feel. Bending both knees, bringing both feet to the floor. Feet underneath the knees. And then we're going to just bring the arms alongside the body and let the hips, lift the hips, and but just halfway. And get really long. So like lengthen, like you're trying to be a plank from your shoulders to your knees, one long straight line. Lift the pit of the abdomen. And then reach the tailbone towards the knees. Mashing your feet into the floor without letting your hips lift more. Lengthen the quadriceps, lengthen the belly. Staying, breathing, trying to get longer and longer. Mashing the feet into the floor, reaching your tailbone towards your knees. And then lower slowly down. Let the knees hug in. Give them a big squeeze, forehead coming to the knees, curling into a tiny little ball. And then relaxing the shoulders and the head back onto the mat. Bringing the soles of the feet back to the floor. Wiggle the feet out so that they're a little wider than your hips, letting the knees knock together. Let that belly, the hands come to the belly. Turn your attention to your breath. You could keep your legs like this, or you can let your legs stretch out long, whatever feels the best for you.
Notice your breath coming in and then going out. As the inhalation fills your body, let the body relax. And then as the exhalation happens, feel your body, it's almost like you're dissolving back into the little center of your belly, toning to the center of your belly, inhaling, expanding, radiating out from the belly, and then exhaling and toning, contracting back in. And then let the focus on your breath go. Let your breath be natural. Let your body be soft. Maybe you pretend, you imagine that you're not even in your body anymore. You're just hovering, floating along the ceiling, looking down at your body resting on the floor. Now bring your awareness back, like you're dropping back down into your body, and notice what it feels like to be touching the floor. Notice what it feels like to be breathing. And then just taking a moment for yourself, listening to your body, do the things that you need. Maybe you feel like you need to stretch out. Maybe you want to curl up in the fetal position and kind of just incubate for a moment before you come back out. So like doing whatever feels right to you. And then when you feel ready, and I'm not rushing you, make your way to seated. And let's take a comfortable seat, sitting up really tall, feeling your skin, feeling awake, taking a posture of meditation. So the hands on the knees or the hands in your lap. And as you find your posture, let your eyes close. And so you feel your seat and you feel steady, but you also start to soften, right? Soften your skin and your face and release the tension in your jaw. Soften the eyes, letting them just kind of melt underneath your eyelids. And then allow your attention, your focus to come to the heart space. And you can even bring your fingers there if it's hard to imagine. And internally start to concentrate yourself in your heart space. So you're bringing all of your attention there. You're drawing all of yourself into the space of the heart. Maybe imagining that you can fill up the space of the heart. Gathering all of your potential and all of your energy and all of your love, your best intentions. And then using the power of your mind, let's visualize that we're sending all this accumulated love and energy from our heart space out to people that need it. So we want to send it to anybody who's sick, and we want to send it to Liz's aunt, and we want to send it out to anybody that's affected by the coronavirus, and moms, and wherever your mind goes. Just imagining, visualizing that you can concentrate your own power in the space of your heart and then send it out in a meaningful way to what feels right for you. And then softening your effort, softening the space of your heart, maybe letting the hands drop, feeling receptive from shoulder to shoulder, across the front of your chest. And then bringing the palms together, saying together, I hope that in some way our practice brings some sweetness and goodness to each of us and other people in our lives. Namaste.